Good evening, everyone. Hello. Hi out there. I'm Stephanie Gillard. I'm the CEO and producing artistic director at American Stage, and I'm excited and a little bit bewildered to be in front of you now talking about the 2021 season at American Stage. If you're anything like the rest of us at American Stage, hopefully you are in the safety and comfort of your home, watching with people you love, but also really looking forward to talking about and thinking about the future and the idea of us all coming back together again. We are so longing for that. So tonight we're going to tell you a story. I'm going to start the story, and I'm going to ask you to stay with us as we continue to kind of navigate some interesting and ongoing dynamic, evolving realities around us. And I hope you'll join me in getting excited and being hopeful and feeling connected as a community as we tell our story tonight. So this is a story, I'll warn you, without an ending, but it will take us on a hopeful journey. It's a story that includes the impact of a worldwide pandemic, the wake-up call of a racial justice movement. It's a story with lots of questions, more questions than answers, one with a lot of fears and hopes. And ultimately, it's a story of a theater with a true commitment to its community. This moment in our world has challenged us all individually and collectively in known ways, and all of us individually in unique ways as well. At American Stage, when we turned the lights off on our stage in March of 2020, we didn't imagine that 6 months later, we would be continuing to ask the question, when will we be able to come together again to do our work, to serve as a community gathering place for the exchange of stories, conversations, empathy, and connection? And the performing arts, theater makers around the world continue to ask and wonder aloud, where do we go from here? But throughout this challenging time, at American Stage, we also continue to ask ourselves a most essential question. How do we serve our community now? It is clear that at this moment, we're being asked to learn. We're being asked to be bold and to innovate. And we're being asked to reimagine so that we may continue to be a resource to our community at a time when the exchange of stories, of conversations, of empathy, and of connection are so deeply needed. In crafting the 2020-21 season at American Stage, we are seeking to remain connected to our community at a time when we all deeply need that meaningful human connection so very much. But while at the same time, we must continue to prepare for ongoing flexibility in an evolving public health landscape. So our 2020-21 season embraces this time of transition and of change in our world and within our art form. This season invites us all to reimagine. Jared? Theodore Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you've got where you are. Where we are right now is in a place where we still are not able to bring everyone back together in a theater, but we hope to be able to do that soon. So in thinking about how we can tell stories to keep us connected and how we can be ready for a changing landscape, and we can be ready for that moment where we all can come together, we wanted to deliver to you a season that you could count on. And so this season, we're going to take you on a journey throughout the entire year that guarantees that American Stage will deliver you powerful stories, boldly told all season long. And in a little while, I'll talk about our plan for coming together to do that in a shared space. But for now, I want to introduce you to American Stage's digital theater season. Jared? huge thank you to our Priscilla Wyatt and to Jared Fox for the incredible work on those videos. Priscilla, you're amazing. She did that in like a couple of days. I want to tell you about our digital theater series, and I want to get you excited about the idea that we can come together digitally in a way that feels connected and not a Netflix experience. And I won't pretend it's like coming together in the theater and sitting in the theater and chatting in the lobby. But what we've done is curated a digital theater season that allows us to maximize what we can do digitally. And so in 3 months, we're going to share with you 3 plays specifically created for or adapted for digital theater. They'll be accessible to anyone, anywhere. And we're going to open our season with Letters to Kamala. This piece is an American Stage commissioned by Rachel Lynette. And whatever your political point of view, the nomination of Kamala Harris to the vice presidency of the United States was unquestionably an historically significant moment in America. Letters to Kamala imagines a conversation between 3 women who blazed the trail for women of color in American politics. Carlotta Bass, the first Black woman candidate for vice president, Charlene Mitchell, the first Black woman to run for president, and Patsy Matsu Takamoto Mink, the first woman of color to be elected to the House of Representatives and the first Asian American to run for president. The 3 women deliver wisdom, perspective, and wry humor as they address Ms. Harris and the cultural significance and psychological weight of her vice presidential bid as they attempt to answer the question, how do you mend a country with a broken heart? Letters to Kamala will be presented beginning in October before the election and will continue through the week following the US presidential election. Tonight, later, I'm going to be asking Rachel Lynette to join us in conversation. Next up, in November, Kate, The Unexamined Life of Katharine Hepburn by Rick Foster. Unconventional, independent, and formidable, Katharine Hepburn was raised by her parents to speak out, sharpen her mind, and engage the world fully. In this digital theater adaptation, Janice Stevens plays the iconic American actress at the age of 92 on New Year's Eve, 1999. As Kate reflects on her life, her loves, and her Hollywood memories, she reveals uncharted emotional waters, exposing a side of Ms. Hepburn audiences have never seen. And one of my favorite Ms. Hepburn quotes is, "Love has nothing to do with what you are expecting to get, only with what you are expecting to give, which is everything." In December, another piece that has been created and commissioned specifically for American Stage for a digital theater experience, Nosotros la Gente, We the People, an American Stage commission by Jerry Montoya. It's the eve of Pearl Harbor, and the Ramirez brothers toil planting date palms in the fertile soil of Indio, California. Benjamin dreams of owning land, while his brother Joaquin dreams of seeing the world far beyond the valley. His young wife, the pregnant Sophie, is heartbroken when Joaquin decides to enlist in the early days of the war. When tragedy strikes, Benjamin and Sophie are left to pick up the pieces and reimagine their futures. This is a story of faith, hope, and love. It's a story of a family that has tilled the fields and of this country and fought its wars. It's a story of America. That trilogy will be our digital theater lineup that promises to engage in really exciting and stimulating ways and to bring a tremendous amount of hope and conversation to our community. And to kick off that conversation, I am really excited to present 3 feature artists from that digital theater series to join me for a little conversation, just to share a little bit more about our digital theater series and these pieces. So I'm going to ask to join me out here, playwright Jerry Montoya, playwright Rachel Lynette, and actress Janice Stevens. If you can unmute yourselves and click your cameras, and hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey. So thank you so much for being here tonight. As I mentioned to you backstage, it was really important. I wanted our audiences and our communities to get a chance to see you and hear from you a little bit about these stories, as we are in some ways feeling so removed as we talk about how we're presenting stories. And so bringing the human voices and ideas and creativity and your artistry to our community. We're excited to do that, and I wanted our audiences to get the first opportunity to hear directly from you. These works are in different phases of development, so we're just going to talk for just a moment, just to give our audiences a little bit of a teaser of what's to come. And I'll start with you, Rachel. And Rachel's been featured in American Stage's 21st Century Voices New Play Festival, and this summer we featured her work in our new shorts. She's an incredible writer. She writes smart, funny, incisive plays, really interesting, compelling, complex characters, and she writes really fast. And I reached out to Rachel, and I was so excited to start ideating with you, Rachel, on what we might present that really speaks to this moment. So I'd love to hear from you and have you share with everybody what you value and what you are inspired by about this particular work, Letters to Kamala.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be working on this play, and it's really fun to do something that's a little different than what I'm used to. But for me, what inspires me is like you said in the intro, is that regardless of your politics, Kamala's nomination is a really big deal. And I know that for me personally, I've wrestled with how I feel about Kamala as VP and Biden as president. And so it was nice to like almost in a weird spiritual way to kind of also call on Charlotte Abbas, Charlene, and Patsy to kind of like, as I'm writing the play, to channel them and my energy as I'm deciding how I'm going to vote. And so what's really exciting about this play is that it's these hugely important women, no matter how you feel about where you are on the line, kind of talking about some of the hardest things that they had to deal with and how sometimes society decides your identity for you. And how do you reconcile with that?
I love that you're on a first name basis with them already. I can tell you're deep in it. Yeah, they're right there with you right now. Well, one of the things I always love about your writing is that you balance heart and real kind of characters who really speak truth, but do so with such a sense of there's always humor underneath your characters and your dialogue, and hope. And so I can't wait to see, we're going to be digging in very soon here. So I'm really looking forward to that. And Janice, you and I have been talking about Kate for a while. You've done this show, you've performed this role. I'll embarrass you a moment to say that I know that the critics have said you don't just play Kate Hepburn, you become Kate Hepburn in your performances. But this will be a little different. And we've been talking, and I've been talking with Rick Foster, the playwright, about adapting this so that we can present this digitally. So first tell us a little bit about how you feel about why what does this story mean to you?
Thanks for asking me to join today, Stephanie. This piece has so many layers of meaning to me because it was brought to me by a very dear actor friend of mine, somebody who saw the Dick Cavett interviews with Katharine Hepburn back in the day and said, "Oh my God, I think Janice needs to sink her teeth into this," and that was Mitch Agris. He was a friend of both mine and Rick Foster, and got in touch with us. And Rick wrote this play very, very quickly. And the thrill of it is that Katharine Hepburn, was such a courageous and such a formidable woman, as you said in your introduction. But at 92, in a wheelchair, she's struggling to find out how you continue to be a vital human being when your powers are leaving you. And she was looking at possibly becoming, suffering from senility and dementia, and trying to figure out how she could actually embrace that or not. And so the play is, it's got all kinds of ups and downs, and I think it's just beautifully written. It's been a pleasure to do it these years.
It has some nice surprises in it about Katharine Hepburn, and then there's also some really fun dishy moments in there too. So really delightful. Our audiences, of course, recognize Janice from Marjorie Prime, from 4,000 Miles, and more recently from Long Day's Journey into Night and Tour de Force performance. Next, I'd like to introduce you to someone who's been in my life. I was trying to count the years, Jer, and I think it's now officially more than half of my life I've known you. We won't say how many years that is. Yeah, thank you, I love you. Jerry Montoya, and I want to hear, before I say anything about my relationship to the idea of this story, I want to hear what this story means to you.
Well, in all honesty, today of all days, with everything that's happening in the world, this is really a soldier story. It's a family story, and about how my family reveres service. And for what's happening today, it's like the world's catching up to me wanting to tell this story now, which is really shocking me. Being a Mexican American in America, we're erased as a people. We don't have a strong pride of who we were. That's not part of the story of America. I think most people would be hard pressed to tell you 3 major Mexican American people who've contributed to America other than Cesar Chavez. And we haven't been taught that ourselves. I don't even know, Dolores Huerta, maybe. And you start looking for that and you realize that we don't have this tie of pride of how we've contributed. And that always was in conflict with what my family taught me and felt very American. And even in this story itself, I did some research. I realized I didn't really know about the beginnings of the Coachella Valley, and I found a book and downloaded it and read it, and it was about the white settlers and the pioneers of that valley. And I was like, this is amazing. There's not a single Mexican American who contributed to the founding of one of the major agricultural centers in America. And so then I looked up racism in the valley and found a book that was written in response to that book about these people who had contributed. And I just started reading it and realized I was related to them. And then all of a sudden they were talking about my grandfather as one of the pioneers. And I was like, I'm angry at my father for never even mentioning that this book even existed to me. And so this piece, which you and I had talked about and we have a little bit of a history with, all of a sudden gained this immediacy that has stunned me, in all honesty, in my life, in the world in general. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I'm pretty excited about it at this point. So.
One of the things that I can't not mention, what the connection that I feel to being able to be a part of your journey with this piece is Jerry and I, many years ago, were teaching in a theater summer camp program. And I don't remember why we needed to buy time. And I don't know if it was rain or something. We had all the kids together. And Jerry sat on a chair with the kids all cross-legged on the floor and started to tell this story of his family. And the kids were captivated. I was captivated. But part of what captivated me was seeing the heart and the depth of meaning that this story held for you. And I know that is just a germination of where you're going with this story today. But knowing just how personal it is, I think makes it all the more profound and exciting that we get to share this with our communities. I do want to know, and I'm going to ask Rachel and Janice as well, how do you feel, Jerry, about working on Nosotros la Gente and as a digital piece of theater? You are a theater practitioner like the rest of us.
Well, I kind of was picturing it as a novel, a film that has a play feel. And then I realized that I was thinking too much about it. And that I should just write the piece and then go back and say, how is this going to work for this screen, and look at each scene as a viewer versus trying to create in a medium. And then I found that I would go over a scene and go, well, this is impossible. This is not going to work. And then I go, okay, but what if I did this and turned this whole section of dialogue into one person speaking, and we can put images here. And that there's this tool that we have in the small screen that can be very intimate, can be somebody whispering in your ear, that the audience is actually this close to what everybody's fighting for the front row. Well, we all have front row seats. And so that intimacy for the actor should be utilized. And so I'm trying to find that intimacy in the piece. So it feels, I don't know, like literally like you're in the room watching somebody live their life, as opposed to this grand thing.
And I know in really taking that sense of intimacy to a really sensorially interesting level, that you have a kind of a I'm going to call it a shopping list in mind for our audiences, the idea of them kind of being able to create some of the sensory experiences from home while they're watching. So I don't want to say more about it than that, because I know we're still in development with a lot of these ideas. I don't want to influence your continued work on the script, but we're so excited to have you a part of our season, and
I appreciate you reaching out and giving me an opportunity to find more about it myself, really, in all honesty, which is what theater is.
It is. Absolutely. Janice, how do you feel about, you've done Kate Live, you've had a live audience, and it's going to be a different experience.
Yeah, but the one beautiful thing about it is I'm excited really about adapting it digitally. And I know Rick Foster, my playwright, is also very excited about it. It's already a very intimate piece. I'm very used to playing in small theaters and being right in, practically in the front row with the audience. And so I think it's going to adapt very easily to this, because I've always felt that it is Kate just sitting there talking to everybody about what she's thinking and feeling.
I think it'll be fun for us to see the camera kind of come to you a bit in the work, and because there's so much detail and nuance to the work that you do. And finally, Rachel, for you, what are you thinking about as you consider what it is to be writing this piece in this medium at this time?
I'm really excited about it. It's interesting because I have a little bit of a background in tech. So when I write plays, I'm like, oh, they can't do that on the stage, so I won't write that. And like now I don't have any background in television. So it's kind of like made me heighten my theatricality in a way that's really cool, because I'm not limiting myself anymore. And since the ghosts of the play are all talking directly to Kamala, the audience member gets to become Kamala. And I think like Jerry and Janice said, that really increases the intimacy of it, is that you get to now sit in that spot and it's someone directly talking to you, which is really, I find that really exciting.
We're going to have a great time. It's going to be interesting. We're going to learn a lot in this process. And I think that this is the kind of work that actually keeps your creative juices, flowing and keeps us sharp. And there may be some lessons learned along the way. There will be, absolutely. And we'll learn them together. And I'm so excited to be collaborating with each of you. And again, grateful that you could be here tonight with us to share a little bit about it. Thank you so much. We're going to continue with tonight's story with a little more about our digital series that's meant for the entire family. Sharon, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tiffany Ford, the Director of Education and Outreach and the Director of Improv. And this is Patrick Jackson, our Adult Education Associate, with me here.
Hello, everyone.
For generations, young people have experienced powerful theater, often for the first time in their lives, with American Stage. We ignite a thirst for learning about new people, places, and ideas in school, on stage, and virtually from the safety of home.
Each year, the American Stage Family Series brings all ages together for a holiday production and for our annual school tour, presenting adaptations of classic children's literature. This fall, our opening Family Series production is an accessible digital hybrid of fresh theatrical storytelling, filmed and experienced virtually by classrooms and families at home.
The power has gone out at the family's household. Two siblings and their grandmother must find a way to be brave despite the never-ending storm outside. They learn that our imaginations make us stronger, innovative, and more resilient as they reinvent well-known tales with a twist. Listen to your inner voice and listen to your grandmother. Celebrate Halloween by joining us this October for Fairy Tales Reimagined, Stories for a New World.
Next up in the family series is our holiday experience. A beloved American holiday classic comes to captivating life as a live 1940s radio broadcast. With the help of an ensemble that brings dozens of characters to the stage and live on-stage sound effects, the story of idealistic George Bailey unfolds as he considers a world in which he'd never been born one fateful Christmas Eve. So please join us this December for It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play.
And that's just a portion of our robust American Stage Education program. We not only provide the chance for young people and families to experience theatrical storytelling, we also offer opportunities to learn and to grow through the exploration of theater. People of all ages can access a quality arts education with our youth or adult classes, and our community connections for schools and families, and our creative wellness through the arts programs. Visit americanstage.org/virtualacademy to learn more.
Following our digital theater series and our family series, we will venture into 2021 with more inspiration, innovation, and reimagining.
So this is where I need you to really listen, because it gets really interesting here with our hybrid theater series. We don't know when we'll all be able to come back together safely. We won't bring people back into the theater at American Stage until we know we can do that in a way that we all feel safe. But when we do, we'll be ready. And when we do, we'll be planning for those who are not quite yet ready to join us. When we do, we'll be social distancing and putting safety measures in place. And when we do, we'll be bringing you our hybrid series. Our hybrid series is a lineup of plays that we will be bringing to audiences either on site or virtually, or both. We will definitely be bringing each of these stories to you virtually throughout the season, so you'll have a chance to experience every one of these stories, regardless of what COVID has in store for us. All of these productions will be presented virtually. We hope that each of them will also be presented on site. So our hybrid series provides the opportunity for our stories, our season to go on regardless of what happens around us, but also keeps us ready and ever ready for returning to on-site performances. I want to start by talking with you briefly about a night in March 2020. It was Friday the 13th. Just a few hours before the opening night performance of the world premiere of playwright Natalie Simon's The People Downstairs, on-site performances at American Stage were halted. For the past 6 months, the incredible set designed by Scott Cooper has sat like a neglected museum piece under glass. In late January 2021, American Stage hopes to lift the metaphorical glass off the set and welcome the return of our beloved cast and our audiences with new social distancing measures in place to finally celebrate this beautiful work. Set in Buffalo, New York, aging funeral home custodian Miles lives with his middle-aged daughter, Mabel, who spends her days writing letters to prison inmates. When a court-appointed guardian threatens to take away their home, Miles sets out to set Mabel up with Todd, an inept mortician. Yes, played by Matthew McGee. It is a father's fierce determination not to accept his daughter's fate that ignites an endearing human comedy about love, loss, loneliness, and the healing power of laughter. Natalie, we love you. It broke our hearts to have to pause the show just as it was about to open and have its world premiere. You are a gifted playwright. We're so lucky to have you in our community. And we really look forward to bringing the people downstairs to Tampa Bay. Following the people downstairs in February and into March 2021, join us for Satchmo at the Waldorf by Terry Teachout. Some called him Pops, some called him Mr. Jazz. His biggest fans, though, called him Satchmo. In this 3-character play, one actor portrays Louis Armstrong, the greatest of all jazz trumpeters, Joe Glasser, his white manager, and Miles Davis, who admired Armstrong's playing but disliked his on-stage manner. Set in 1971 in a dressing room backstage at the Empire Room of New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel, where Armstrong performed in public the last 4 months before his death. One critic at the DC Metro called this story poignant and painful, funny and moving, yet most of all, Satchmo at the Waldorf, the beautifully wrought one-man show, is vastly entertaining. Join us virtually and or at the theater for Satchmo at the Waldorf in February. In May and June, a new play, Schoolgirls or the African Mean Girls play, will surprise you, have you laughing, gasping, and just delighting in the humor and the humanity that reaches across nations and across cultures. And it's biting and buoyant comedy. It's ferociously entertaining. It's heartwarming. It's hilarious as we meet the reigning queen bee at Ghana's most exclusive boarding school. She sets her sights on the Miss Universe pageant, and a new student unexpectedly changes the game. You won't want to miss this nasty teen comedy, wonderfully refreshed and deepened, that spotlights the universal similarities and the glaring differences of teenage girls around the globe. Finally, in the summer of 2021, American Stage returns to its Shakespeare roots, but with a twist. Romeo and Juliet in America, the one with the happy ending, is a bold and modern retelling of Shakespeare's most romantic tragedy that imagines how these two young lovers caught in the middle of their feuding families might meet a different fate. Through party crashing, street fights, and clandestine encounters, the plot twists and turns toward a stunning new conclusion where, as we end our season, we consider the idea that love may actually conquer hate. That's our 2020-21 season, our digital series season, and our hybrid season. We're going to see you virtually and or at the theater, one way or the other, throughout the year. We have a couple of other things in store in our story too along the way. I'd like to tell you a little bit about a festival or two.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Clippard, and I'm the Associate Artistic Director here at American Stage. Nothing, not even some pesky pandemic, can dampen our festival spirit and our desire to celebrate community by bringing you fresh stories told by new voices through plays and through improv. We're going to be kicking off the new year in January of 2021 with our 21st Century Voices New Play Festival. American Stage is very, very proud to continue our commitment to 21st Century Voices through our 5th annual New Play Festival. And this year it's going to be featuring live stage readings of new plays from very exceptional up-and-coming playwrights. It's a hybrid festival, and that's going to be featuring new plays exploring themes of mental illness, wellness, and resilience. With submissions from playwrights all over the globe, we'll be selecting compelling plays that help to destigmatize mental illness and to open up a dialogue about mental wellness. With all of the challenges that we've seen in 2020, we know that it's going to be a very important topic to explore. With our new play festival, you'll experience some of today's most exciting new playwrights telling the most urgent stories of our time. And then in the summer of 2021, our As If Improv Festival is back. We're going to be bringing you the best professional improvisers in the game. And this festival is going to make you laugh out loud as you see the regions and the regional improvisers and musical comedy teams taking the stage. We're going to celebrate the art of making it up and all of the joy and connection that comes with laughing together. So we hope that you will say yes, and where do I get tickets? Because I must be there. We present these festivals because American Stage is a longtime cultural fixture in the Tampa Bay area, and we value and care about our community so much, and we love nothing more than bringing people together from all over the area.
Yeah, I think we might have forgot something there, Chris. I mean, all this programming sounds pretty awesome, but there's a little festival that we do out at Dimmon's Landing. It's called American Stage in the Park. I don't know if you might know something about it. We've been out there for quite a while doing it. Let me remind you what we might do out there coming up. Hold on one second, and I'll just share my screen. I feel like Scooter the Muppet sometimes. Here we go. Boom.
I'm holding out for a hero to the end of the night.
They've gotta be strong and they've gotta be fast and they've gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light.
They gotta be sure and it's gotta be soon and they gotta be larger than life, larger than life. Through the chill and the rain and the storm and the flood,
I can feel their approach like a fire in my blood. Like a fire in my blood, like a fire in my blood, like a fire in my blood, like a fire in my blood. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
They gotta be strong and they gotta be fast and they gotta be fresh for the fight.
I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light.
They've gotta be strong and they've gotta be soon and they've gotta be larger than life.
I need a hero.
You know.
Jared, what do you think?
That little number. Well, you know, we did design a set for that show just about almost a year ago at this point. So
Where is
it
that
is
set?
that set is about 60% built, sitting in our scene shop. It was about to get loaded up onto a truck and head out onto the field right when we had to all shelter in place and shut everything down. So it was on its way to being set up. So it is ready to to be finished and be put out there and entertain.
Everyone, this is our director of production, Jared Fox. He's also one of our most our biggest go-to set designers, scenic designers, and he's been designing the park shows as well as a number of our main stage shows, but he's been designing the park shows for the last few years and had a fantastic design for Footloose, and it was, as he said, 60% of the way built. So much anticipated return of American Stage in the Park is planned for this spring of 2021. After postponing this Tampa Bay area tradition earlier this year, American Stage has rescheduled this high energy pop musical, and we look forward to bringing our community together under the stars when it's safe for us to do so at a safe distance at Devon's Landing. I know everyone will look forward to that moment when we can be together again. It's kind of it's become such a community tradition, and I think it'll be a real kind of benchmark moment for all of us as we start to get to the other side of this shelter in place. So we look forward to it. And Jared, I have some new ideas for the set. So since we've got a little more time, what do you think?
Well, we got some time. So, you know, why not? Might as well.
Can't wait. And I know Jared has something really special for everyone when you come out and see the set. He always surprises us each year with what's possible out there. So thank you so much, Jared. Thanks for keeping the set on warm. While we wait to get back to it. And anything else you want folks to know about American Stage in the Park? I know you have some personal feelings about this tradition.
I do. I mean, this is the 5th year in a row that I've designed the park set, and it's just super exciting to bring people out there and, like you said, just sort of be able to one-up ourselves every year and push ourselves consistently and say, what are we going to do out there this year? This year there may be a flying bridge. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I know, a super cool flying bridge. So super excited. And there's just, you know, what a lot of people don't think about is there's a lot of technicians and artists that are literally waiting, just waiting to jump back in and put together things and entertain and produce. So it's not just the actors we're all missing. There's technicians and designers and all the people that American Stage normally employs, and our teams can't wait to get back and bring you all into the various worlds that we love to create.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jared. And, you know, as we start to wrap up here and think about all of the programming that we have in mind and that we have in store, there's really something for everyone in our community throughout the 2021 season, which is reflective of American Stage's over 4-decade relationship with the Tampa Bay, our audiences, families, individuals. There really is something for everyone. And we have created an innovative new way to ensure that you have access to our work all season long. And I'm excited to introduce to you, many of you know her and love her already. For those who don't know her, you are in for a treat. Ms. Stephanie Snyder, the American Stage Managing Director. Please join me on the virtual stage, my dear.
Well, hello, Miss Stephanie, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much. And we are absolutely excited because this season, American Stage subscribers, our donors, and our sponsors come together, not only in support of our beloved professional theater, but to also welcome new audiences as one community, the American Stage membership community. And our new season brings even more powerful stories than ever before to our audiences, and American Stage members will enjoy the full season of reimagined productions with all access to all streaming productions performed live on our virtual stage. Now, your memberships can be purchased individually, or 2 memberships will include everyone in your entire household. Our newly launched sustaining member sponsorships are also available, and they help fund artists and staff, along with new technologies that are essential to realizing our season, PPE for safety protocols when we can return safely together, and will provide digital inclusion and access for our artists, our students, and our audiences. The American Stage membership community truly does create vibrant, sustainable, professional theater with innovation, inspiration, and inclusion for all. And you can join the American Stage membership community tonight. Following our event, all you have to do is visit americanstage.org, view our digital season guide, and become a member of the American Stage Reimagined season. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Steph. And I want to tell people about a couple of other things, a couple of other reasons to become members. We have some other treats in mind. Because we really are thinking about if what does it look like to be a member of American Stage and what's going on throughout the country. We have artists, as Jared mentioned, who aren't working right now. We have other theater companies across the country that are in the same place that we are, and they're looking to innovate and bring interesting programming. So we will be bringing our members season artist shorts. So if you are a member at American Stage, each month you'll receive an artist mini performance delivered right to you in your home, your living room, free, again, for American Stage membership. There'll be one of those performances every month. And we're so excited about the developing creative collaborators that we're going to be working with and delivering to you. These are theater companies from across the country. We'll be linking creative arms with them to bring access to our members to their performances as well. So there's going to be so much interesting innovation stories and just great talent and skill out there as we all continue to prepare for a continued evolving way of bringing stories to our audiences and to our communities. As I said before, our on-site programming will happen once it's safe for us to do so. But until then, we have all sorts of ways to make sure that we feel like a community and we have a place to go to gather and to have conversation. As you, many of you know, this is a big season for me as well, as it's my final season as American Stage Producing Artistic Director. And boy, I never would have imagined that my final season would be at such an unusual time. But it's got me excited and motivated and leaning into how we reimagine the work that we do. And when I said that this story comes without an end, that's because as we begin to close out this season, American Stage will have a new leader, and it will be a new time as we all look to what do our arts organizations do next? What do our communities need now? And to wrap things up, I want to invite out here with me the American Stage Board Chair, Robin Rusignolo, who, Robin, if you could join me for a moment to just kind of say hello to everyone and help me kind of share with everyone our excitement about the future at American Stage and where we're headed next.
Sure. Thank you. And thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. As Stephanie introduced, I'm Robin Rusignolo, Chair of the Board of Trustees. And on behalf of the board, we are so excited about the upcoming season, both the digital performances and when it is safe to do so together, the return to on-site programming as well. So American Stage is committed to our community, and with your support, we are going to continue to deliver high quality storytelling and arts education through COVID and beyond COVID. So again, thank you. And I just would like to invite everybody to join us for the season kickoff on October 9th with our Reimagine virtual fundraiser, and hope to see you there. And thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Robin, and to our entire Board of Trustees, thank you for all of your support. There are so many people who have let us know how much American Stage matters to them during this time. It's been such an unusual time and everyone has their own concerns, but the partnership that American Stage has with our community has really borne out through the support that we've seen from our trustees, our sponsors, our volunteers, our friends in the community who are really want to make sure that American Stage is still standing strong. And I'm here to tell you that we will be, and we are, but we do need your support. And so I look forward to seeing you as a member throughout this season. I can't wait and hope that it's sooner rather than later that we see each other back at the theater, but I encourage you to become a member, make a tax-deductible contribution, and ensure that powerful stories boldly told continue on in Tampa Bay through COVID and well beyond. And now I want to let you know, for those of you who are joining the conclusion of our living room plays, you'll be logging in. That's going to be starting in a little over 5 minutes. Well, we are just right on time tonight. And for your weekend watch, you'll have opportunities throughout the weekend to watch the living room plays. And you'll also can tell your friends about the season announcement, because this announcement was recorded. I really prefer just to do things live and not have to go rewatch my little slip-ups, but that's the world we're in now. So please share with your friends so they can rewatch our announcement tonight. They can register at americanstage.org for the living room plays and to see our season announcement. Finally, just a personal thank you to everyone in the Tampa Bay community who has made my time here so incredibly special. And I want to just ask personally that you keep an open mind about what's to come, both on our digital world as we create new ways of telling stories, and then beyond. I think that you'll be surprised and delighted by the experiences we can have together now, and as we evolve throughout the course of the season. I hope that you all stay healthy and stay connected, and I look forward to seeing you at the theater. Thank you so much.